Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at a sequencer application. So we're not going to be able to do this right now, but in your notebook under VFDs, you have a PowerFlex 525 instruction. So a PowerFlex 525 is a variable frequency drive that's used to drive a three-phase motor instead of a traditional motor starter that might have forward and reverse and all kinds of overload protection and everything like that. You can start that three-phase motor with a variable frequency drive. One of the ways to control the variable frequency drive is to push out a logic command word to the drive from the PLC. So you see that we have our word here where 0 is the least significant bit all the way up to 15, which is the most significant bit. So this is a register, a 16-bit register, which is an int, INT. Once again, a double word would be 32, but we only have 16 bits here. So you see that the way that this works is if there's a 0 here or a 1 here, it tells you whether you have a normal stop or a not normal stop. If you have a start right here, for example, a 0 or a 1, that tells me that this thing is either running or not running. If there's a 1 in here, it's going to be running. And so if you go through here, you'll see that there's whether it's in forward or reverse, or if it's accelerating or decelerating at a certain rate, or if it's what the frequency is, that's how fast the motor is running, depending on if you have a 100 at this location here, a 100. And so for this register right here, you're going to get some word 100, 10, 10, 111101, whatever that register is. And when the drive gets that command word, it is going to respond to whatever you're telling it to do right here. Okay. So if I go ahead and take a look at my PLC program, you'll see that down here I have installed a PowerFlex drive right here. So this PowerFlex drive, because it's Allen Bradley, it comes in as an item that it recognizes. And if I were to double click on this, I go in there and I can go in there and I can set all my variables for this. If I want this to accelerate in a second or 5 seconds, or decel at a certain rate, or run at 1,000 RPMs or 2,000 or whatever. There's hundreds of variables I can set up to control that motor right there. Okay. And once I have those set up, those variables set up, I can then use that command word right here to call those variables in whatever order that I want to, just by changing that word. Okay. So what I have here is it looks like a push button. And when I do that, I'm going to take my motor and I'm going to move it into my destination storage, and my storage then gets moved out to my motor logic command. So I'm taking a word from this array and it's being put into the variable frequency drive, and the frequency drive is then going to go ahead and run, whatever that is. So first of all, let's take a look at my mask right here. Let's take a look at this array. I'm going to take a look at motor run. So if I come to my parameter and local tags, I have my motor run right here, and my motor run would have a variety of different command words that I would want to put right here. Okay, I haven't been very creative and put many in here, but if I came here and I put a binary number in right there on this command word, well then whatever this 16 bits is, 0110. Let's say I've got a 1 right there. So if I come right here, it looks like I've got a 1. What was that? A 100. I've got a 100. So I've got a 100, which means that I'm running at preset frequency 0 in this case right here. Okay. And then this one right here, I could put in a different word and a different word and a different word, etc. And every time I advance the sequencer, well, then the motor would run differently. This right here was a push button, but you could put this on a timer, or you could put this on some type of a limit switch or process control so that your conveyor ran for a certain amount of time, and then this would get clicked, and then the conveyor would slow down or speed up or accelerate differently or whatever, okay? Because it would be taking that array. What is my mask right here? Let's take a look at my mask real quick. So if I come into my tags and look at my mask, you see that for my mask, I just have a 16-bit mask. This word down here is 32. Okay, I made that a dent, but I'm only using the first 16 of it. So I used an int for my mask and I put in ones. So I'm going to let everything come through. Okay, it says -1 right here. How come? Well, when I look at that as a binary, putting all ones in right there, if I take a look at that as decimal, that returns me a value of -1. So -1 is all ones if you see it as a decimal. Okay, so that is my mask there. And so once again, just to reiterate, I somehow activate the sequencer. It takes that word. I got a full mask, so everything comes through. It goes into storage. Storage then gets pumped into the logic command. That gets pushed out to the drive because it's all Ethernet, and the drive takes off and the motor runs. So that's an example of a sequencer activity.